one of the wisest things in the Harry Potter books. In the book, Harry is impudent enough to ask Professor Dumbledore what he sees in the Mirror of Erised. And Dumbledore is wise enough to not tell Harry the truth. He says, I see myself with a pair of woolen socks, because you can never have too many socks, which is true. It's only late in the books that Harry realizes that what Dumbledore sees is his dead sister. But he was wise enough to let Harry discover truths on his own instead of imposing his pain on Harry. Dumbledore was also, if you read the books and see the movies, wise enough not to get too upset over the hijinks of George and Fred Weasley, who are the pranksters in Hogwarts, breaking a lot of the rules of the school. And some of the staff would have loved to have kicked them out of school, but Dumbledore recognized that most of what they were doing was harmless, and they were going to grow up. And in fact, we'll see later on, they play a very important role in the story because Dumbledore was tolerant of them. Quite different headmaster was Dolores Umbridge. I actually think she's more evil than Voldemort in some ways. Dolores Umbridge works for the Ministry of Magic. And she is a control freak who wanted to... oh, I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead. Too soon. We'll do Dolores Umbridge in a minute. Another way Dumbledore was wise was recognizing that he could not trust the Minister of Magic. And this is something that's a hard lesson for Christians, I think, is to recognize, because we're good, loving, trusting people and good faith, but there are times you learn that there are certain people you can't trust with certain things. Certain powers and so forth. And Dumbledore recognized that the Ministry of Magic was not going to be able to join in the fight against Voldemort. And so, in his will, for after he died, he left gifts for Harry, Hermione, and Ron, rather than giving all of his knowledge to the Ministry of Magic. And these are very special gifts, but he doesn't tell them how to use them. He trusts them to figure it out for himself. And so here we have a clip from the Deathly Hallows in which the children get their gifts from.
To what do we owe the pleasure, Minister?
I think we both know the answer to that question, Mr. Potter.
And this is...
Herein is set forth the last will and testament of Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore. First, to Ronald Bilious Weasley, I leave my Deluminator, a device of my own making, in the hope that when things seem most dark, it will show him the light.
Dumbledore left this to me?
Yeah.
Brilliant. What is it?
Wicked. To Hermione Jean Granger, I leave my copy of the Tales of Beedle the Bard in the hope that she find it entertaining and instructive.
Mum used to read me those. The Wizard and the Hopping Pot, Babbity Rabbity and the Cackling Stump. telepathy? No?
To Harry James Potter, I leave the snitch he caught in his first Quidditch match at Hogwarts as a reminder of the rewards of perseverance and skill.
Is that it then?
Not quite. Dumbledore left you a second bequest. The Sword of Godric Gryffindor. Unfortunately, the Sword of Gryffindor was not Dumbledore's to give away. As an important historical artifact, it belongs
to Harry. It belongs to Harry. It came to him when he most needed it in the Chamber of Secrets.
The sword may present itself to any worthy Gryffindor, Miss Granger. That does not make it that wizard's property. And in any event, the current whereabouts of the sword are unknown.
Excuse me?
The sword is missing. I don't know what you're up to, Mr. Potter, but you can't fight this war on your own. He's too strong.
Dumbledore was even wise enough to know that sometimes children's stories teach great truths. I still love to read children's books, by the way, even though my children are all grown. And in the end, Dumbledore was wise enough to sacrifice his own life in the pursuit of a Horcrux rather than to risk Harry's. When Harry offers to drink the wicked potion guarding the Horcrux, Dumbledore tells him, "I am much older, more clever, and much less valuable." And so Dumbledore goes through the torture of drinking the potion. It's not courage alone that makes Dumbledore drink this. It is wisdom that told him Harry is the one who must survive. Now, we expect old professors, and even those of us that aren't quite so old yet, to be wise. But it's interesting that Hermione is a wise young woman in the stories. Throughout the Harry Potter books, Hermione is identified as the smartest student at Hogwarts, the most skillful witch of her age. But over the course of the book, she also learns to be wise. In the first book, Hermione confronts a difficult challenge involving 5 potions. From the clues provided, she has to decide which potion would make it possible for them to go through the fire. The wrong choice, though, would kill them all. Most people would give up on the challenge and turn back, but Hermione knows that she is smart enough to figure this out and help Harry move forward. She uses logic to figure out the right potion, and once she is sure she is right, she and her friends drink with confidence. Wisdom can give you confidence if you trust it. Hermione is the one who recognizes Voldemort might be trying to lure Harry into the Department of Mysteries by playing on his instinct to save people. She has a fight with Harry and urges caution. But you do, sort of. I mean, don't you think you've got a bit of a saving people thing, she said. A wave of hot, prickly anger swept Harry's body. How could she remind him of that blunder now? I'm trying to say, Voldemort knows you, Harry. He took Ginny down into the Chamber of Secrets to lure you there. It's the kind of thing he does. He knows you're the sort of person who would go to Sirius's aid. What if he's just trying to get you into the Department of Mysteries? Harry doesn't trust Hermione's wisdom, and he nearly gets all of his friends killed because he doesn't rely on Hermione's virtue. In the last book, The Deathly Hallows, Hermione is very prudent, and she is able to save both Harry and Ron through good planning. When the Death Eaters attacked a wedding they were attending, Hermione was able to whisk them away to safety because she had packed everything weeks in advance. She had a magical bag that held everything they would need for their life on the run, including a tent and change of clothing. Unlike her friends, Hermione knew the virtue of planning and was not caught by surprise. So we have another, yep.
Still help the scene of not make sure where I need to be.
Oh, see. Yeah, chapter, sorry.